Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, on to the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail! It's not every day that a young Scottish footballer makes headlines with words alone. But Connor Barron, Aberdeen's tenacious midfielder and one of the country's rising stars, has managed just that. In a candid moment that sent ripples across Scottish football, Barron has stated, without a hint of hesitation, that he would never play for Celtic FC. It's a bold declaration in any context. But in Scotland, where football allegiances often run as deep as family ties, and where the old firm rivalry between Celtic and Rangers cuts through generations of passion, culture, and identity, words like these take on a significance far beyond the pitch. For Barron, still only in his early 20s, it marks not just a personal line in the sand, but a message, intentional or not, to clubs, fans, and even suitors south of the border who keep a close eye on Scottish talent. Barron's comment came during an informal media appearance when asked about potential career moves and whether a switch to either of the Glasgow Giants could be in his future. Without hesitation and with an air of unshakable conviction, the young midfielder said plainly, "I'd never play for Celtic." The reaction was immediate. For some, particularly among Rangers supporters, it was a badge of honor, a show of loyalty, defiance, and character in a game increasingly dominated by cautious PR speak. For others, especially those in green and white, it was met with a mix of amusement and irritation. And for neutral observers, it raised a familiar but always relevant question. Should players speak so openly about where their allegiances lie? Barron, born and raised in Scotland's northeast, has come through the ranks at Aberdeen with grit and determination. While his technical ability and positional intelligence have earned him plaudits, it's his attitude, grounded, combative, and emotionally invested, that's often highlighted by coaches and teammates alike. In many ways, he represents a throwback, the kind of player who sees the badge as more than just a jersey, who wears his heart not just on his sleeve, but in every tackle, sprint, and loose ball. His rise through the Aberdeen system has been steady, rather than spectacular, but undeniably impressive. He's matured into a reliable presence in midfield, capable of dictating play, breaking up opposition attacks, and leading by example despite his age. With contract talks ongoing and interest reportedly coming from clubs in England and beyond, Barron finds himself at a crossroads in his career. His future may lie away from Pittodrie, but as we now know, not at Celtic Park. The statement, while stark, is not entirely without precedent. Scottish football has always had its fair share of players whose loyalties are publicly known. Stephen Naismith once admitted he couldn't picture himself playing for Celtic. Neil McCann never hid his affinity for Rangers. Even managers have occasionally drawn lines between personal belief and professional decisions. But for a player so early in his career to draw such a definitive line, and so publicly, is still rare. Some pundits have questioned the wisdom of such a stance. Could it limit his opportunities in the future? Might he be perceived as too partisan? In a modern game that increasingly demands adaptability and neutrality, perhaps. But in a sport often criticized for its lack of authenticity, there's something refreshing about a young player speaking plainly and standing by it. To understand the weight of Barron's words, one must also understand the wider context of Scottish football culture. The divide between Celtic and Rangers isn't just about football, it touches on religion, politics, identity, and history. While clubs like Aberdeen, Hearts, and Hibernian have loyal and passionate followings, the gravitational pull of the old firm remains dominant. Players from other Scottish clubs are often asked, implicitly or explicitly, to align themselves with one side or the other, or to keep their heads down and avoid the discussion entirely. Barron evidently has no interest in ducking the question. And while he hasn't publicly declared allegiance to Rangers, the subtext is hard to miss. Rumors have long circulated that he grew up in a Rangers supporting household, and his combative, no-nonsense playing style has often drawn comparisons. to some of Ibrox's midfield warriors of the past. Still, to define Barron solely by this statement would be a disservice to his talent and character. He remains one of the most promising young midfielders in the Scottish Premiership, a player with vision, energy, and leadership qualities well beyond his years. Whether he stays at Aberdeen, moves down south, or finds a home elsewhere in Europe, there's little doubt he has the ability to thrive. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans, but the Celtic question will likely follow him. Every match against the Hoops from this point on will carry added spice. Every challenge, every pass, every celebration will be viewed through the lens of his declaration. If he scores against Celtic, and he very well might, expect the reaction to be thunderous. If he signs for Rangers one day, the narrative will write itself. It also places Aberdeen in an interesting position. The club has long prided itself on developing players with strong character, and Barron fits that mold. But they'll also be aware that such statements can create pressure, both internally and externally. Will it affect dressing room dynamics? Probably not. But it will color public perception, and it may influence how rival clubs, especially Celtic, view him as a transfer target. Interestingly, Barron's statement also shines a light on the changing nature of football loyalty. In an era where players jump between clubs with increasing frequency and where brand building often trumps local ties, his words strike a different chord. Whether you agree with him or not, there's something undeniably authentic about a player. Who knows where he stands and isn't afraid to say it? Of course, football is a game of unpredictability. Never is a long time. And many in Scottish football remember other players who made similar declarations, only to change course when contracts, circumstances, or career ambitions made them reconsider. Will Barron hold firm, or will time soften his stance? Only he knows. But for now, the message is clear. Conor Barron has drawn a line. He may yet play in England, Europe, or even for Rangers, but Celtic, not a chance. If his word holds, and in a country where football is more than just a game, where every derby and declaration echoes through terraces and pubs, that's not just a quote. It's a statement of identity. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.